Hello everybody. Well, today is a full moon in Taurus. I'm a Taurian, so you can imagine there's quite a bit of flack around. Lots of tears. Not much laughter at the moment. I just wanted to talk about tears really because I just think they're not valued enough. I mean, when someone's crying, people tend to want to run away, look away, feel uncomfortable, comfort them. Don't have these tears, they're going to be a nuisance. And of course, tears mean many things. They can mean happiness, joy, sadness, and men cry, but men are afraid to cry, and that's such a shame because tears are very releasing. Tears are good to have because they release the chemicals within our body that are caused by stress. So people that cry are often a little bit more happy than those that don't, because they can let go of their emotions and can they feel them and let go of them. And I just feel it's so sad that people don't acknowledge tears enough. When I was a little girl, I was not allowed to cry, hence my depressions nowadays. Depression is sadness gone inwards. My mother used to say, oh, be happy for me. Don't have tears, don't be upset, don't this, don't that. And I think it's really important that we express our feelings, not only to ourselves, but to others. I mean, okay, don't go weeping all over the place because people don't like too much of it. As I have noticed, you have to sort of keep some sort of boundaries, but I can remember only a few months ago actually, or maybe years, I can't remember, when I was working with a spiritual master, and I was actually very upset because I had every reason to be upset about something, and he just sat there and just waved his hand away, send somebody else in to sort this woman out. This is a shame. I think even on the hierarchy, with some of the spiritual masters, they're very, very male. They've probably been up there for a very long time when women were very repressed and they hadn't yet learned how to accept femininity. And we're in the age now, aren't we, of, reawakening the divine feminine. And women do cry, women do have emotions, and men think you're being hysterical or whatever. It's very real, to have a cry. I love a cry. A bit indulgent maybe, but I think, tears are part of us, aren't they? And I'm on my own. I have no one to talk to or express myself with. So when I have a good cry, it's kind of acknowledging me, my feelings and myself, part of me. I find it quite indulgent sometimes to have a good cry. Let it all go. And I think it's very important. And I think for me, most of my life I've had to say repress emotions, but also not received a lot of love. I know you probably laugh at that, and this is not a sob story. A lot of us haven't. And this new age thing, be joyful, be happy, love yourself, I find very, very difficult, and that makes me angry. It doesn't take much. But, this self-love business, I've never come to terms with it. I don't quite know what it means. I suppose you look in the mirror, you think, what a silly old fool, I don't like it because I'm getting older, I'm getting more wrinkly and all the stuff, and I find it very hard to love that. I find it, old age is very, very difficult to come to terms with. But also, being told to love ourselves. Why? I mean, we don't know ourselves enough to love ourselves. I mean, it's much easier, I think, to love somebody else. But that's wrong because that's supposed to be, it's not. It's conditional, isn't it? We love somebody else. There's very few of us can love unconditionally. So this self-love business, self-liking maybe would be a bit easier, but self-love is pushing it a bit, I think. So I'm in that sort of mood today, this full moon in Taurus. We have so many planetary energies at the moment that are causing us to, well, it's for Taurians and Scorpios, of course, but anybody at the moment, is a real push to get us to let go of things, to release things. And yeah, you mustn't cry about it. Oh no, you mustn't get depressed. Look at all the internet people. Oh, laugh and be happy, be joyful. Sorry, can't do that. Not at the moment. I feel very depressed. I'm actually very depressed. Not today. I'm out of it a bit, but I do get very depressed, and I deal with it. I just go to bed, put the duvet over my head, and just cry myself to sleep. And then in a few hours later, I come out of it. And it's really only energy, isn't it? Energy that we're being asked to let go of, and you can't let go of it, and you're laughing. Oh dear, but this love business, it's a word that's bounded around. We've got Christmas coming up, and there's love from, Christmas cards to the man next door, to the milkman, love from. It don't mean it. It's not real. Love means something much more powerful than that, and it's unconditional, and it's not something you put on a Christmas card to this man next door. Well, I don't, but then people, this love thing is so easily written, so easily said, and it really, people don't know what it really means. It's very, very hard to feel. Gosh. I haven't got my glasses on today, so I don't really know how I look. I got fed up with myself this morning, looking at myself in the mirror. I thought, oh God, where's that beautiful young woman gone? So I took my glasses off, hoping it would go away. Of course it won't. Well, I'll tell you a little story, because for me, this lack of love, I was told, and I think it was 2002, it was like another psychic message, that I'd never received really much love at all, and I would die because of it. Well, that was rather a dramatic thing to tell somebody, I thought. I don't know how true it was. Well, I'm still here, obviously, but I met a man just after that whom I thought I loved, but it was a soulmate, so it was a very ancient love, and I did love him, but I wasn't in love with him, and I think he loved me, but he wasn't in love. He wanted excitement and young girls, and he was 72 at the time, and he never had a life like that, so he was off with the girls, you know. But it was a love, but it wasn't a very reassuring kind of love. It was conditional. Anyway, a nice little story I will tell you was about my dad, who's not alive now. When I was living in a place called Newark, was I living? No, I was in Bristol. I've moved around so many times, I forget where I am. Anyway, I was living in Bristol at the time. I've lived there all my life, although I'm not from the West Country. I'm northern Yorkshire area. But anyway, I was in Bristol most of my life, West Country, and I just had the feeling to come back to roots in Newark, Nottinghamshire, to a very isolated home. I think I've told you about the haunted house. I won't go into that now. So I moved up here on my own. I don't know how I did it. I didn't know anybody up here. There was no reason, except I just felt I had to get back to roots, to reconnect with something. I don't know. It probably wasn't a good idea, because I've been so unhappy ever since. I don't like it up here. I don't like, well, I'm in Lincolnshire. I don't like it. It's too flat, too boring, and I'm too outgoing. I'm part Canadian. My mother was Canadian. Anyway, this story I was going to tell you. I was in a semi-detached house, quite full of stuff, as you can imagine, and I didn't want to drive up. A friend was going to bring the car up. I was going to get the train. I don't know why I did that. I just felt I couldn't drive that distance on my own with all the stuff, you know, and I needed a van, obviously. So my dad offered to see me off. So he stayed in the house. Did he stay in the house? I can't remember what happened. Oh, that's right. He stayed behind to get all the stuff, you know, packed in the van, and he must have been distraught. Mum didn't come. She hadn't got the courage. But my dad, sweet old dad, was my support and my favourite person, and very, very loving and kind. And it must have broken his heart to see me leave. But anyway, I got to the station. He took me to the station. I think he took me to the station, that's right, and I got on the train, and I can remember, in fact I feel quite tearful now thinking about it. This is real love. And I can remember sitting on the train with the window to my left, and he's standing there. He must have been in his 70s then, I guess, and he put his hand on the screen, on the window, and I just felt such a lot of love from him. Now, he wasn't a man to express feelings. A lot of men aren't, and particularly that generation, they're very repressed emotionally. And through that hand, I felt it went straight through my solar plexus, and I sobbed and I sobbed. And a woman sitting opposite said, "You all right?" I said, "Yes, I'm leaving home." And that was really the last time I had that connection with my dad, although I did see him once or twice. He died not long after that. That's another story. But I suppose was the first time that I really felt the love from my father. I can't say I didn't have it from mother. That's another story. Difficult relationship, but my father was my mentor, really, I suppose, and my well, little girls and their daddies. Well, not all little girls and their daddies. My anyway. So this was real love that I felt, and I've had moments like that, very strange moments, not long lasting ever, and perhaps it only comes in short bursts. Perhaps it's so powerful that's all we can deal with. I mean, this man friend that I had, who was that's another story. You want to read the book? I can see him standing in the driveway with his hands in his pockets, and I was walking towards him, and again I suddenly felt a surge of love come towards me, and then it was cut off. It lasted a few seconds, if that. But these are the things that you can remember, aren't they? I mean, it doesn't die. I think it was Jesus the Master said, all that is real cannot be threatened, all that is unreal does not exist, and love is real, and it goes on. And of course we have people in spirit that can send us love, and I had the most beautiful experience last night, this full moon. I took lots of loving light coming towards me, and I just cried. And of course, again, crying, it wasn't crying out of sadness or unhappiness or loss or grief. It was just because this love was coming in at me, and with the third eye, when that gets triggered, it does bring tears. So all this stuff about don't cry, don't be upset, don't this, don't that, we've got to forget it. I mean, this ascension time we're going through is about receiving love, and it's going to bring up a lot of feelings that need coming out, and we're going to cry about them. So let somebody have an internet thing. Well, of course, you know what I mean, a proper person who does channeling and all this stuff. Let somebody have, yes, it's okay to cry. Let's tell the world, let's tell the hierarchy, these males that think women shouldn't be crying, they mustn't have feelings. Let's shut them up, let's dismiss them. They're not all like that, but one or two are very, very ancient in their belief systems. Do you know, this is interesting, that in the Bible, I only found it recently, that women apparently, it was advised, this is the Old Testament of course, that women shouldn't have hair long, or they should have it covered up, because men are nearer to God because they haven't got long hair. Now, can you believe it? I wish I could find it again and I could quote it, but this is the feminine I'm on now. I'm on a different track, so I better go. my favourite subject. Femininity, it's a male's world and all that. I've had to fight very hard. In fact, someone told me the other day, I'm probably androgynous. I'm probably more of a man than a woman. Living on my own for 30 years, I've learnt most things, and I can fight a good battle, I can tell you. So anyway, on that note, have a good cry and enjoy it. Take care of yourselves. God bless. Bye-bye.